is it not connecting?
You're eventually getting there.
Oh, here, let's try that. There we go. Is that good?
Yeah, what's that song? Yeah, we're all good. We're all here. We're all here and we're all recording for the. Well, this isn't the first one. We already had the first one back in New Year's Day.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Holman's like already 100 feet back in his.
He's already chilling.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. So let's hear it. Now I want to hear about Pickwick, guys. I want to hear what I missed. Other than what Matt already told me, but I don't know if I can put that on here. So, which was really good. Y'all missed.
Well, it started with the house that we had rented was a little bit on the high side, but it was a pretty good sized house. It had lots of bedrooms and stuff like that. So Andrew was like, "Hey, let's try something." We talked about possibly at some point this year using our social medias to gather some co-anglers that were, quite honestly, people we didn't know, and bring them into the house and, interact with them for our video and our YouTubes and things like that of that nature. So we did that. We went down that route, and the response that we got from our social media was pretty shocking, really. We got quite a few requests, happened quick. Those spots filled up. We asked for 3 co-anglers to come in. One of them I was familiar with. He actually called me on the phone and said, "Hey, is this for real?" And I said, "Yeah, it's a kid that's going to school over at Bethel University right now." And he's like, "Dude, I want in." So as it worked out, we ended up with 3 young men in their 20s, 2 in college, 1 recently just out. And I think all 3 of us, Matt Pangrack and Andrew, will all agree that, man, it couldn't have been a better house. And that group of 3 guys were just absolutely incredible. Incredible fishermen, incredible people. Like, we had a great time with them.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. I mean, I even had the guy that practiced with me, Clay Osteen, he actually caught his new personal best smallmouth while fishing with me, which is always a cool experience as well. But I mean, it was just fun. It was motivating, I think, at a different level than what we're kind of used to. And I think that was kind of what was the driving force with it for the most part, for me at least.
See, I had seen y'all doing that, and then like a day or 2 later, I saw it. I'm not saying it was reposted, and I was going, man. And I didn't talk to y'all. Y'all were already like, y'all were doing that. We kind of not necessarily leave each other alone, but everyone gets busy when we're all traveling. And I was like, man, I wonder if anyone's replied back to that. And I was like, there's no way no one's not replied. So like, that's pretty cool that I assumed
there was lots of replies.
Yeah.
We were fortunate. We had so many. Andrew and I got to talking. Matt was fishing at the time, and he was up in Kansas at this powerhouse lake that it's just trophy smallmouth, and they were all trying to catch 1 bass a day. But Matt Upshaw and I were discussing, and we were like, "Hey, man." Upshaw's like, "I've got a kid," and I'm like, "Hey, I've got a kid. Let's just keep it with these young guys, these college kids, like that age group." And like I say, Jacob Davis ended up being a little bit older, but he wasn't much. He's like 26 or 7. So he's just right out of college, and it was a great group.
I just remember Sean, like when I fished with Sean, like I dropped him off. Like, you drop your co-angler off at the dock to go get the truck. And like, I just remember like the first day, it'd been a while since I fished with like a young college kid like that. And I get like 7 feet from the dock and he just like leaps. And I like, he did it every day. And I just remember thinking, God, I used to be able to do that. Like, I mean, it was just like a risky, and it never even crossed his mind, just like bounced out of the boat like that. I was like, man, I used to be able to move like that too.
Dude, that age group is so good. Like, that's a cool age group. Like I had a couple of those young guys around me in the top 10 at Rayburn, River Lee and Cameron Madison. And like we all had to delay that first morning, and River was like, "Yeah, this is day number 21. I've been on the water." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember those days." And that's not like, I only used to do those for tournaments, like have back to back tournaments. But I think he was just fishing, and I was going, "Oh yeah, that's how it used to be, man." I can't do that. I mean, I could do that if I had to, not because I want to.
I think that's where it all boils down to, is like, you hit a certain point where it's it just drains you so much. And we're getting older. I mean, it's just what it all boils down to is we're all getting a little bit older, and it's rougher on our bodies.
Well,
I mean, this past week by itself just kicked my butt.
Well, it's funny too, though, man, because like when I was younger on Rayburn, I mean, I spent those days out there on Rayburn, like every day, just out there. And I really wasn't trying to learn anything for a specific reason. I was just learning stuff. And so now when I get on Rayburn, it was funny this like past weekend, like I caught all my fish on a swim jig and I never threw one in practice, like ever. Like I just, and like the conditions all changed on day one. It was all windy. I'm like, oh, this should work. I caught almost every single fish on it. You know, like you don't have to practice as much anymore on some of these lakes. You know, you kind of figure out areas and then you're like, I'll just make adjustments on the water.
Well, I can tell you, I was in Tennessee floating at like 4:00 in the morning, and the word on the street was that Todd Kesseldine was officially back in Texas. Some people were rolling by me going, hey, Kesseldine caught him really good at Rayburn yesterday, and da-da-da-da-da. Looks like he's going to make the top 10 was the next thing I heard. And then Upshaw and I got to talking, and sound like you won an AOY and all this weekend.
Yeah, man. So this was y'all knew, and so Hallman's big part of this. I called Hallman up when I was at Texoma, and I did pretty good at Texoma in the second one. And what I was always going to do is I was always going to miss Rayburn. I was just going to miss Rayburn, come fish the Pickwick one, and then they canceled Smith, and then I was up at Grand and I was talking. I was like, Hallman, man, so I got a dilemma. Like, what do you think? Should I miss this Pickwick Open and fish Rayburn on the chance that I might make Angler of the Year? I was in fourth. I wasn't very far behind second and third. I was a little bit kind of behind Reynolds in first, and Reynolds can catch him. I mean, that's not a guy that I really want in front of me like that, but it is Rayburn, and I mean, it's any lake. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's hard. And so I was like, what do you think, Hallman? And he was like, you got to do it. And I was like, I was expecting him for like, not exactly that like adamant about it, but he was like, got to do it. It's a no brainer. And I said, are you sure? He's like, yeah. And so I told him right then and there, I was like, all right, man, I think I'm going to go ahead and try for it. Just on the, I wanted a number 4 bad. I just did. So
strong 4 AOYs and 1 Costa division is or Toyota division, Costa, and I guess EverStart.
I think I have I think it's EverStart, 2 in the Costa and 1 in the Toyota.
I think that's what I actually labeled it on my Facebook post for you. Was
really?
I did like Toyota /Costa /EverStart.
EverStart, yeah.
Because I mean I knew you'd want them in all of them.
Well, and I had come in second. The last time I had fished him. Dickie Newberry had who's on Travis right now fishing the MLS. Like he did good enough. I don't know how. I think he got to come in the top 4. Matt probably knows this, right? Top
and then
4,
get to fish the next BPT event.
Yeah, so he didn't fish it, and I was like, "Where's Dickie in this?" Oh, he's fishing Travis, so that makes sense. But yeah, so it turned out pretty good.
Well, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Man, and I don't think they like me too well because we had a big storm delay on day 3. And man, I was campaigning them to like cut the, like not let us fish day 3. I'll tell you why. So day 3, y'all know how it goes, right? I'd already done the numbers. And Jeff Reynolds, he had a 19-point lead on me. And Jeff Reynolds finished 29th, which means if I made a top 10, that's great, but I had to finish 9th or better. I couldn't finish 10th. And I'm like, man, they're like, oh, just don't finish 10th. And I'm like, dude, y'all know, man, as fishermen, anything can happen. I already looked at the tiebreaker. He beats me on the tiebreaker. And I was like, I'm in 4th. Man, it's bad out there, Mark. It's raining. Like, I mean, I was like, it's lightning.
It's raining.
It's scary out there. And then about 9:30, and we only got the fish till 2:15. He's like, all right, load them up, guys. We're going out there. And I'm like, oh, now I got to go figure out how to catch a limit. But yeah, it was pretty funny. I had a couple guys. I had Josh Benson in second. He knew he couldn't catch comb. So he was like, he wanted it. He's like, all I can do is down as well. So, I mean, I had the guys at the top that wanted to, Combs definitely didn't want to fish. So I had all these guys at the top that didn't want to fish. And all the guys at the bottom were like, oh, it's fine out there. So pretty funny.
Tell them about sleeping in the wrong house the first night, guys.
What?
Oh,
I'm sitting there
yeah, this is a story.
at the so I was a day
So
late
bad.
because I came
Go-
from Kansas in the Bass Nation Regional, where like literally if you caught one, it was like, oh my god.
I
it's a
saw
fish.
that about you, man.
Dude, it was bad. Like the guy who won from Oklahoma caught 9 fish off of one rock and sat on the same rock for 3 days and caught 3 2-pounders with a shaky head. And I caught all 3 of mine on the same cast the first morning and then 1 fish the next 16 hours. It was that bad. Like half the field zeroed. Like these guys take off a week of work and all this stuff. And like, I mean, you run into guys who's like, I haven't had a bite in 6 days. I mean, what do you do when there's no feedback? Anyway, so I was late for a day and I got there and I said, I'm just going to sit in the driveway and work on tackle for 2 or 3 hours, maybe get out in the evening. You get there. It's that address. It's just like Brad sent me screenshot and I get there. It's all good. And I roll in and I see all the extension cords and the trucks from out of state. I said, okay, this is it. So I walked through. I'm like, man, this is a nice house. They got all this stuff spread out in there. So I go out and I just start working on tackle. Like never crossed my mind anything. So I start working on tackle and this like little mini SUV thing comes past and like slams on their brakes and it's 2 women in it. And I was like, oh, maybe they saw the rat boat or something or, you know, whatnot. And then they come back like 2 minutes later and she gets out. She's like, hey, are you Bradley? And I was like, no. And she's like, where's Brad? And I said, he's on the water. And she's like, when is he going to be back? I said, I don't know. I said, I just tried calling him a couple times. I said, it probably around dark. And she goes, well, who are you? And I said, I'm Matt. I'm staying in the house with him and stuff. And she's like, y'all are in the wrong house. And I was like, huh? And she's like, yeah, this is the wrong house. And I was very confused because I had talked to anyone. You know how you just roll up to a and they're on the water and their stuff's in there. And I'm like, well, it looks like the right house. Well, she's like the property manager for both. And the way to get the keys was the same. And then one of the college kids got there first. So, and the address they actually gave us didn't exist. It was like 6 things all happened. So I'm standing there. I don't have anything in the house yet. I just was going to work on tackle and then worry about that later. So she goes, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm just going to drive over to the right house and start working on my tackle at the right house. And she's just freaking out. And I was like, man, it's like, we'll get this all figured. So then Brad, I finally get a hold of him and then he calls Andrew and then neither of them can keep fishing. So they all come back. I spent 2 hours moving all of our meat and equipment and stuff over to the new house. And then they move all their stuff over.
Dude, Hallman calls me and he's like, we got a big effing problem. And I'm like,
what?
Oh God, what now? Like, what happened now? Like, I just can't even. He's like, we slept in the wrong house last night. I'm like, what?
Like every bed slept in. Like I walked through the place, like to see, like, cause I was gonna like stake out my little corner, and I was like, no, like it was like there were like charging hubs set up, and there was bacon on the counter, and the fridge was packed, and everything was. They were in it.
Well, and I can tell you this, like, so Hallman calls me and he's like, hey, like, I'm already heading back because we got to move out of there. We got to figure out what's going to happen and all this stuff. And I'm like, I just literally ran 20 miles to a spot to go fish. He's like, well, just go fish, man. I got this. I'll get your stuff. And like, I literally pull up and I start fishing and I'm like, I can't do this. And like, so I ran back the 20 miles and loaded it back up. And I might even, did I beat you there, Holman? Or I got there like right after you got there. I mean, cause I was just like, I couldn't like it was insanity. It was absolute insanity.
Was it a big deal? Like when it was all said and done, were they mad or?
I mean,
she kind of screwed up by sending us the wrong address.
Yeah.
And so, and now granted, like it was partly my fault because I didn't send the college guys the picture of the house. Like we all kind of room together. Like we don't ever really think about that. We sent him the address. Yeah. That's the house. And I told him how to get in and he got in exactly the way. Yeah. And it was
so she's got a lockbox just like what you got at Rayburn on your house. But the problem is she's got the same number for both houses.
Both houses.
And she sent us like whatever 583, which actually isn't a house, but like 580 is the wrong house and 585 is the right house. So to get into them is the same, and they're on opposite sides of the road, and they have the same number of bedrooms and like the same amenities, except one of them had a awesome hot tub, the one we weren't allowed to be in.
Yeah, we weren't. Yeah, good thing we didn't go jump in that thing, I guess.
Yeah,
crazy. That's crazy. So when y'all were doing this, like, so when we all roomed last year, we were always looking for houses, and Scott would always get like these requests, and I remember him, we all talked about that. Let's just be frank about this. Like, we were always nervous about getting in, like if someone ever invited someone like, hey, y'all can all stay at my house, but it'd be this total stranger. Right.
Oh yeah.
And this happened when we were going, I guess I made those YouTube, it's kind of happened twice now. But I got a funny story about last year too, about like rooming with people or like these invites. And so after me and Jason had done that whole Texoma to Amstead deal, I get a message, and it's a guy. He's like, hey man, y'all ever come down to Amstead again? I got y'all a place. And I'm like, I just remembered Scott going, man, you never know. And you got to realize, I mean, these are total strangers sometimes, like, telling you to just come stay with them. So I'm like, I didn't think much about it. And I kind of did a little research, and Stanky knew this guy. Y'all know who I'm talking about, Stanky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, hey, he's great, man. And so I took him up on the offer, and me and Jason stayed down there. And in fact, it was like the best place ever. It was right next to the deal. We had a good time. And I was like, all right, I don't know if I can make this a habit. But I already got like I've got more invites since then from other places and everything like that. But one of my guys we met down there at the top 10 at Rayburn, Sean Temple, he was like, yeah, man, I text Scott when y'all were up here at Louisville. Y'all could have stayed at the house, man. We had it all ready for y'all. And I was like, yeah, man, I had to tell him about the whole deal that, like, man, you never know what you're going to get into with those. He's like, well, I only messaged him once. He didn't reply, so I went about my day. But he goes, if you ever need a place, let me know. Cool, dude. But I mean, I guarantee you can hit 9 out of 10 of those good. And it takes one guy, and you're like, never doing it again.
Yeah.
But so far, so good.
I got a story on that. One of the guys who used to fish the Elite Series, he's not on it anymore. Him and his buddy, they had one of those deals. A guy texted him. He said they woke up in the middle of the night and the guy was just standing over him looking at him.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm telling, like, I don't know if I can tell a story that Scott said, but like it was, I kind of halfway remember it. But yeah, man, like you just never know. I think you can get away with it if you do a little research and someone. You have to know someone that at least knows that person. I think you're good then.
It's still so super sketchy. Like, oh my gosh.
It can be. Or like, but the guys we met down at Amstead are awesome. Like, they were awesome. Like, man, it was great.
So let me throw this out since we're talking about it. Anybody wants me, Panger, and Upshaw at Virginia, like we don't have any place to stay the first 3 or 4 days of practice there. So we really are kind of maybe sleeping in our trucks.
Within an hour of the James River.
Andrew is such into YouTubing daily and his editing. I don't think he really cares. Like I've told him 4 times, dude, I don't have anything booked. He's like, all right. I think the guy is expecting to go practice from daylight till dark, get in his truck, drive to McDonald's parking lot where they have Wi-Fi, work on his video, upload that sucker, walk inside, get something to eat, come back out, work on another video, hit upload and lay down and go to sleep and get up in the morning and go fish. I think that's what's in the back of Upshaw's mind, but I'm not positive.
I mean, we'll just say this: in the last like 45 minutes, I've uploaded 2 of them. So yeah, no, I've been busting them out here lately, just working my butt off. It's been exhausting. I'm on video number 15 in a row, wow. with not even including the others. I've been doing a daily tip series, like literally like every single day a video, not skipping a day.
I'm on the straight up old school. Back what I used to do is that's like fishing a tournament every weekend, no matter what happens, it seems like. So my I've gone back a little bit. I've regressed but I've been fishing so much, and I'm not gonna say I don't dislike it. I kind of enjoyed it.
Dude, your videos with trash fish, you gotta just put videos up of you fighting trash fish. I've watched that thing.
That was my best.
That pumps me up more than any bass fishing video.
Listen, that's my best video. I had more fun at doing that video. Me and I still to this day, if you ask me that's my best video I've ever done is the trash fish video.
Because you're like, what the hell is it?
And nobody's ever seen the real good trash fish video, which just is baffling to me. Of mine and Castledyne's. Actually, it was Castledine catching the trash fish video on Rayburn.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's seen that one.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
It's so great.
It is. It's not
So bad.
controversial, but like I didn't know
A
if
little bit.
I can do it now. I think I can do it now.
Yeah,
but at
yeah,
the
you can do
time,
it now.
I might have been a little too green for YouTube, and like, but now I think I can do it. Oh yes, Andrew. Okay, good. Okay, I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Yeah, it's so great.
That's a good one.
good.
Okay, yeah. Now I get it. Yeah,
He'll send
did
it to
laugh.
y'all too.
Those are
Holman,
one of
I think
those-
you watched it.
It's one of those things that you laugh about like 30 minutes to an hour later. Like I was driving home and I was laughing at other things. Andrew knows probably what I was laughing at as I was driving home as well, because it was,
But
yeah, but yeah, that's a good one, Andrew. I'll work on that. And we'll see. What's crazy is I had my next videos. I have, I didn't put Mullins in there. So Watson came and stayed at the house for a couple days. And we went fishing and did some stuff. I think that's my next video. I had Mullins down here, but I can't have Mullins on video because he just complained about every single thing he complained about my boat, my rods, my reels, my baits, everything. He would complain about everything I actually had. I cooked him breakfast every day. I cooked Watson breakfast every day and dinner every day. And he loved it. I'd cook Mullins breakfast. No, I'm not hungry. And then at lunchtime, he's like, hey man, I'm really hungry, man. You're not going to feed me. It was like constantly with Mullins, everything. And then as he was leaving, he's like, hey, can I borrow one of those loose reels? Hey, can I borrow this bait? So all the stuff he complained about, he eventually borrowed too. So I like David, but yeah.
I'll tell you this, where, Todd, you hadn't traveled with us much this year yet. But we have two like gourmet chefs in the house now with Panger and Hallman. So I have definitely not had to cook, but I think they're going to start charging us so they will cook. So I think everybody's going to have to start putting in like $20 or $30 and splitting the pot just to make them where they can keep cooking, because they're kind of knocking it out of the park right now.
Hey, are y'all bringing a y'all's own grill?
Oh yeah, they're taking a Traeger everywhere they go.
Okay, yeah. See, I had a feeling. It's kind of hard not.
And a smoker. I mean, heck,
well,
Holland took a smoker.
Yeah.
We got a smoker and a Traeger.
Like a little small one, like Scott had.
I don't know. Like that, but it's
Exactly.
good because like what I'm bad at, Hallman's really good at, and what Hallman doesn't really do is what I excel at. So we're like a good team partner.
Man.
When it comes to cooking, like he does all the technical stuff, and then the technical stuff that he doesn't do, I do. So it like comes together, and it's both of our stress. Like we talked about this past week. It's like my stress relief after the day. Yeah. It's like coming home and focusing on cooking for an hour and a half just gets everything else. I just sit there. I'll have an aneurysm by the end of the night thinking about the fishing.
Well, and that's what my co-angler was asking. He's like, man, you don't ever like cook or anything. I was like, dude, I would embarrass myself if I went and tried to cook with those guys.
Like that.
I was like, let me go do my video stuff, and I'll pick up the camera from time to time. And I actually did a pretty funny challenge. I won't spill the beans on it, but did a pretty funny challenge with the college guys, and kind of punked them a little bit. But that's what I'm good at now, is what I figured out. And I'm really good at like getting drinks. I typically can either get us beer or some Dr. Peppers or something, so it works out pretty well.
I had about that stuff, about the pumpkin stuff. So I had Steve Baskins as my day one partner for the Toyota. Do you remember? It must have been, when did Scott call up his guy? Was it the Arkansas River? And told him that he was going to have yoga mats and stuff and do yoga on the deal. And then I drew Baskins, and we were like, oh, I wonder if it's like Carol Baskins related. Anyways, I drew his brother at the Toyota on Rayburn. And like I've had a lot of guys I've either drawn or like make comments about like that, like you said, like the pumpkin, like when we did that, like it's amazing how it's like a weird little small circle that's kind of going around from our YouTube stuff to around things like that. It kind of goes around, and we'll meet these same people again, or same situations. Holman's just sitting in the back.
I'm just chilling. I'm just listening.
But yeah, it's been crazy.
Val says hi. She's eating her buffalo tuna.
Does she know she's on film?
Oh yeah, she knows she's on. No, she knows.
Usually she ducks out.
She typically ducks out, but I didn't give her a chance to duck out this time.
Yeah.
Basically, we're doing a bass anchor therapy real fast. She's really excited.
I'm really excited. Can I go now?
Yeah, she can go. I'll call you later.
Okay, bye.
That was funny. No, that was speaking of the Carol Baskins thing, we also had somebody bring up the haunted house at the last event. What were they talking about? They saw something or saw someone or heard a noise, or I was like, God, we can't do that again. Yeah, Sean saw a ghost.
At y'all's new place?
Yeah.
No, he was with some girls and a couple other guys at college, and on a Friday or Saturday night, and they decided to go to some haunted church, and so they drove out in the woods somewhere, and he was, he was scared. He said he saw one without a shadow of a doubt.
Hey, what?
The girls were all screaming.
Anyway,
it kind of sounded like all of us at Louisville, really.
If y'all don't know, man, I tried like heck to get all y'all to come to Grand with me. I was hoping y'all might show up since y'all got that other one canceled. It would have been a little bit tough on y'all in Douglas, though. Y'all would have had to. Y'all might have missed a day on Douglas, but man,
probably wouldn't have hurt me very much to miss Douglas time, because all that did was jack me up anyway. So
it was weird though, man. I was at Grand for the first time and Holman wasn't there. It was weird because it was just me and James Watson and there was no one else. And usually it's like a big giant group of us. So I kind of missed that.
It's been kind of a weird year. I mean, you look at some of the houses we've had and some of the situations we've had happen on the road, and I mean, it's definitely been an off year as far as that stuff goes. It's just kind of been
definitely
strange.
Not gone smooth, have they?
No, it really hadn't. It hadn't been a smooth year whatsoever.
When do y'all leave out again?
To like Thursday, Friday,
really?
Something like that. Yeah.
And y'all still don't have a house?
Well, we've got one for tournament nights, but we don't have anything for practice.
Did you get that trailer in the middle of a field?
Yeah. Yep. Right by takeoff. We probably won't have
that's going to be really good. That's going to be really, I think that'll be a good thing.
The problem's going to be charging boats, because he told me after I'd rented it that he runs generators out there, which is fine, but I'm on lithium. You two guys both run acids.
Yeah.
Do any of y'all have the power pole charge yet?
I do.
I don't.
I don't either.
It goes, man. If you
do either of y'all have a generator, like a little portable generator?
Nope. I do not.
Okay.
But it sounds like I'm gonna be at McDonald's a lot, like you said.
Yeah, plugging in there too, right next to the order plate for the drive-through order deal.
And be like, man, why won't this guy leave us alone?
Are you making YouTube videos like every day?
Every single day.
I can't keep up. I can't keep up.
Dude, he's on day 16.
Yeah.
He's nonstop.
Oh, I just had one post like 10 minutes ago.
How long are they?
Anywhere between 8 and 12 minutes.
Gotcha.
They're super simple. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I had a bunch of requests just for like simple tips, get right down to business, not a lot of B-roll. Just simple, like, this is what you do. And it's simple, and a simple intro and a simple explanation of whatever the tip is. Like today's video was silent versus rattling crankbaits and when to use them. And, just easy stuff. So, the thing is what's not easy. It sounds super simple when you talk about an 8-10 minute video is the time it takes to edit, come up with an idea, uploading, thumbnail. I mean, I literally did the thumbnail just a few minutes ago. So, it's certain days it's super easy. Like we have plenty of time. I mean, and it's not even just me. Like, look at Hallman and Panger and yourself. Like, I think that's what a lot of people take for granted on this YouTube stuff is like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you talk about that? I mean, like, we literally can only talk about so much in a 18 minute or even a 25 or 30 minute video, and then you take in the account, the amount of time to edit and shoot and get all these angles and stuff. And sometimes, I was shooting a TV show yesterday on Wilson, and my father-in-law was running the camera for me, and I catch a 4-pounder. And I do the whole talk, I do the whole thing, and we find out that he missed the shot. He didn't hit record. He thought he'd hit record and didn't do it. And we basically missed everything.
Ooh.
And I mean, and that's just, that's what happens sometimes. I mean, that's the reality of it. It's not, it's not some fake thing. It's just, it's just what we have to deal with. I mean, there's always setbacks on literally every time we go shoot something, there's always at least a setback. So whether it's our time that we have or conditions or just, errors. So
I ended up for the Rayburn one, I got every day of practice in there. It was all going great. And day one, I forgot the whole camera at the house. So I don't have any of day one. Day two, I get all on there. And then day three, of course, it rained all day long. Like there was no way I could record anything. So I got one day of the entire event. And by accident, I was going to show it all. I mean, I didn't care. Yeah. But what I'm learning about YouTube, though, is there's things that I'm from Texas, Holman's from Oklahoma, and I didn't realize the language barrier that we have sometimes from Texas and Oklahoma and around the country. Because I don't know if y'all know that. I mean, we're not.
I know where you're going.
We're not allowed to say Okie. Like we're not allowed to say Okie anymore. Like Holman's not allowed. He's banned from saying Okie from here on out.
He can't say Okie ever again. Yeah. It's derogatory.
Yeah.
Like why would you do that?
We got 3.5 minutes, Holman. You want to explain that?
Some jackwagon posted a comment on my
his name
YouTube.
Is Dirty D on his YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, somebody behind a fake name with no identity and 0 subscribers and 0 posts, one of those.
Yeah.
And he basically said, man, why do you wear that Okie hat that says Okie on it? Like that's a derogatory term and that I need to learn my history. And like, I'm not a professor at the University of Oklahoma on Oklahoma history, but I know my way around it pretty good. And I know where the term came from. And, it's today's society. That was back in the Dust Bowl when all the farmers moved out. And it wasn't even just the ones from Oklahoma. It was the ones from Kansas, Colorado, all the farmers that were involved in the Dust Bowl that had to pack up their families and leave and go out west. And they weren't treated very nicely, and they were termed Okies. And I get that part of it, but dude, like by that reasoning, I should hate everyone in California too in 2021? I mean, because they were bad to my ancestors? I mean, jump off, dude. Like, get a life.
The best is that you should know your history. Out of all of us, he's the one guy that's like, I'd be rooming with him. He's like, Todd, you don't watch this stuff? And I'm like, no, Holman, I don't sit around and watch 19 hours of History Channel stuff.
He literally will turn on the History Channel and watch it until 2 a.m, watching some documentary on something, like some super random stuff. Like he is the one out of this whole group.
The whole group.
That knows his history.
The best is when YouTube guys will like make a comment about, we only got a couple minutes, guys, but when someone will make a comment out of and it'll be like specific to a certain person, and we'll all look around going, that's the one person they shouldn't have said that to. Like that's the one person that knows. It always works out that way.
Yeah.
But
still,
the main part of this show though is congratulate you, Todd, on your AOY. Like super freaking awesome, man. Impressive. That's number 4 for you. So like, congrats, man. That's so awesome.
Strong.
Well, we're about to probably get kicked off. I'll holler at y'all guys. Good luck, man. I'll be following all y'all up there at the Potomac. Good luck to y'all.
Thanks for letting me jump on, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime, Matt.
We'll see, buddy.
All right. See you.